All right, everybody, welcome into the, it's a little bit delayed today, the high noon show here. I'm Pugs Moran. We do this each and every day at noon. Uh, like 99.9999999% of the days we do this at noon. Today oh my goodness, I had a delay. I got a whole story for you. Oh, really? You got a story? Yeah, I got a story. All right, so last night, if you're hi Byron, yeah, it's a reasonable excuse. You know what, Byron? You're a lesser man would have just said, you know what, we're just not gonna do a show today. That's fine. That's fine. It's not like we're getting paid to do this. It's not like it. Although you can pay us, we do accept tips. So I guess to some degree, I do have a commitment that I have made, an undocumented commitment to those who do support the show, and we do appreciate you for that. So we had some crazy weather come through yesterday. You probably remember that. And I don't know, like 4:30 in the afternoon yesterday, my head started to pound. I've told the stories about how my sinuses are strangely affected by the barometric pressure out there. And I got a really bad headache yesterday at like 4 o'clock, and I'm all out of my sinus medication because I haven't needed it in a while. And I used it all up, and I haven't gotten any re-prescribe, whatever. So I went to the old batch, and maybe some of you might remember early on in this show, I took some of this original medication, and I almost passed out on the air because it was like really affecting me weirdly. So I put that stuff away, and that is for emergency cases only. That is for like, okay, if I take this, then I know that I just have to go to sleep because it affects me weird. Well, yesterday about 5 o'clock, I took some of that because my head was just pounding. By the way, did you see that hail? My God, we had hail. We had gigantic fist-sized hail. No, it wasn't that big. We had crazy hail come through last night. It was just so stormy and all that. All right, so I took the medication about 4:30, 5 o'clock, the medication that I shouldn't take. And then around like 7:30, 8 o'clock, I woke up and I'm like, oh God, I just want to go back to bed. So that's why last night's show was canceled. Last night's show was canceled because I was in no condition to do a show, the Pillow Talk edition last night. So then I wake up this morning. I wake up early this morning, and I made sure, and I called my doctor, and I wanted to make sure I wanted to get in there because I needed to get this prescription, my good prescription. And they're like, oh, you can, I'm like, can you just redo it? Can I just do it? And then I'll go to CVS and they'll fill it. No, you're due to come in and we have to check in. I'm like, wait. I'm in a lot of pain here. I got a job to do. I didn't tell her what I do. I just made her think that I got a real job. And I'm like, how can we make this work? She's like, well, you could come in at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then the doctor will see you, and we'll just make sure we'll do a quick run through, and, we'll do all of this and that. And I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. So I'm thinking I'll get in there at 10 o'clock. I'll get out of there at 11, and I'll get back here by noon. I didn't get out of there until like 12:45. So I apologize. So that's why we have the extended, the show's a little bit late today. April says, I have footage from Forney of a tornado on the ground at 6 p.m. Yeah, it was crazy last night, man. It was crazy as hell around here last night. However, I got my prescription filled, and I'm feeling very good. I do not have a headache. I do not have the sinus thing going on. This is, I got my magic pills, and not my bad pills. My bad pills that make me just awful. All right, so let's get started on today. Let's start today's show. I don't know how long today's show is going to go. I really don't, because I don't like to go too far past that. My kid, I have this little ritual that I do at 3:30 every day with my kid, and so I don't know that we're going to go all that long today, but we will try and do what we can do. Oh, I see that the chat room is severely depleted today with the different hours. All right, you live, you learn. Now I understand. People only show up at noon. I guess it's 1:30 is a little bit too late. All right, today is March the 15th. It is the 15th day of March. I literally just walked in. I did. I walked in. I was luckily in the waiting room. I was able to prepare all the things that I wanted to do. So, I got stuff that we can do here. But I just walked in, so I'm a little bit scattered. Take a drink. All right. Today is March 15th. It is the 74th day of the year. 291 days remain until the end of the year. Let's find out what today is so that we can all celebrate it appropriately. It's Breathe Freely Day. Not really, but it is for me. Today, the March the 15th, World Social Work Day. So hug a social worker. It's National Equal Pay Day. Equal pay. Is that like women should be paid as much as men? I happen to believe that that's a solid idea. I happen to believe that, you shouldn't make less money simply because you lack a dick and balls. I think that you should be paid for the same work. James Parker has the most Cro-Magnon take on this. Since it's National Equal Pay Day, I think I might ask him that tonight on Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk, by the way, comes on at 9 o'clock every night, and it's me and Parker, James Parker and myself. We do it's more conversational. This is headline-driven. This is current events. I didn't do the whole spiel. I didn't do the whole spiel that I usually do when I open up the show because, as I said, I just walked in the door. But it's National Equal Pay Day. We'll table that. Maybe we'll talk about that tonight. And you will hear the most idiotic, poorly thought up, I'm doing AM shock talk and I'm trying to get the phones lit up. You're going to hear that. Seriously, it's ridiculous. But he stands by it, man. I appreciate his commitment to being an idiot. Today, March 15th, is also Everything You Think Is Wrong Day. All right, stop it. That's a stupid thing for today to be. It's National Kansas Day. That's an equally stupid thing for today to be. It's National Pears Helene. And I know it's Helene because they got those little accents over the E's. It's National Pears Helene Day. I like pears. I think pears are one of the most underrated fruit. And I'll tell you why they're underrated. Most overrated fruit, strawberries. Strawberries are the most overrated fruit in the fruit world. Why is that? Because strawberries look better than they are. You pick up a strawberry and you're like, oh my God, this looks like a marvelous strawberry. This is going to be perfect. And then you bite into it and it just tastes like dirt. Just tastes like, oh yeah, it's kind of sour. Strawberries are almost never sweet the way they look like they're going to be. They're always a disappointment. Strawberries, big disappointment. Strawberries are like dating a fashion model. They look really good, but then when you get them home, they're just like, oh God, this is terrible. Pears, however, you get a good pear, you get a perfectly ripened pear. Oh, it's subtle, it's nuanced. The sweetness is just the perfect amount. I'll grant you, a lot of times you get a pear and you bite into it and it's got the consistency of an apple. That ain't good. A pear needs to be a nice mushy, almost like a peach, like a good ripened peach. Peach is a solid fruit. Peaches, you get good peach, that's good. But pears are underrated. All right, what is Pears Helene? It's Pears Helene Day. National Pears Helene Day celebrates a food holiday about the delicious, smooth French dessert combining warm poached pears, vanilla ice cream, and chocolate sauce. Okay, that sounds good. I'm on a diet, so, I'm going to not read any further, but that sounds really good. It's National Shoe the World Day. National Shoe the World Day. What is that? What is National Shoe the World Day? Let me see. Let's see what this is all about. Each year, National Shoe the World Day on March 15th. Okay, my computer's going a little bit nuts. Apparently, this is where we're supposed to donate shoes to the world. How do you do that? You open your window, you just throw your shoes out in the alley? I don't know how that works. Each year, National Shoe the World Day shines a light on the value of good footwear for millions of people around the world. Each day, over 500 million children, teens, and adults do not have a pair of shoes to wear. Despite the terrain and the climate, they walk barefoot everywhere. Their daily struggle is one we cannot begin to imagine. No, I can't, because I have baby feet. The bottoms of my feet are like baby bottoms. If you ever, you know what I mean? Like, you ever see like a little baby foot? You're like, oh, little baby foot. And you're like, oh, it's so soft. It's so tender. That's how my feet are all the time. If I have to walk barefoot, like across anything, a driveway, it's, oh God, imagine like people in Africa who like walk barefoot everywhere. The bottoms of their feet have to be just like leathered, just like total calloused over. I don't have that. I wear shoes. I come from a developed nation. I've been wearing shoes my whole life. By the way, speaking of shoes, I saw a friend of mine on Twitter. He posted he's a shoe collector. He's got like hundreds and hundreds of pairs of shoes. Gym shoes. He's one of these sneakerhead guys, and he's got just an entire room in his house just dedicated to all these shoes. You know what he found? He found, this is amazing. He went to a Goodwill store in Chicago. He went to he says that's one of his tricks. He goes, man, I stop by every Goodwill store and I just look at all of they got shoes, man. You never know what you can find in a Goodwill store. He found an original pair of Air Jordans. I mean, it don't fit him, but he doesn't wear them anyway. He found an original pair of Air Jordans, like some limited edition Air Jordan shoe, and he bought them at a Goodwill store. He bought them for $6 a pair, and he's like, I could sell these right now for like $1,000. He bought them for like $6. So there you go. That's his own little personal shoe the world. Shoe Larry, we'll call that Shoe Larry because Larry found a pair of Air Jordans. He's already got the original Air Jordans, but he found another pair and he's like, holy crap. So good on him. All right, that's what today is. Let's go through this day in history. Let's find out why today is memorable. We're going way back. We're going way back in the Wayback Machine today. 44 BC. On this day, the 44 BC, so that's 44 years before Christ, 44 years before Jesus walked the earth, the assassination of Julius Caesar takes place. That's right. It's the Ides of March, ladies and gentlemen, the Ides of March. Well, I'm a friendly stranger in a black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? Did you guys know that song? I don't know if you guys know that song. It's by a band called the Ides of March. Here. Here's why I ask if you know that song. Because, wow, look, you put VEH and it comes up. Here's why I ask if you know this song. Because it's from a local Chicago band. And it's used all the time. Like, it's used all the time for all kinds of things. This song... But I'm not sure. I think it might have been just a regional hit. By the way, listen to the lyrics of this song. This is the Ides of March vehicle. It seems to be a song about molesting a child walking home from school. I'm a friendly stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures, got candy. I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. That's right. The opening lyrics are, hey, I'm a friendly stranger in a black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures, I got candy. I'm a lovable man. I can take you to the highest star. Is this a hit song about molesting children? I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I'm your vehicle, woman. By now I'm sure you know that I love you. Need you. Have your child. Great God in heaven, I think I love. All right. That's Vehicle. That's Vehicle by a band called the Ides of March. Is that a song? Is that or is that just like a look? Because I don't think that I've ever heard that song when it wasn't being used in a local Chicago commercial or something like that. Okay, Jeff says no, they were big. Okay. Well, I'm your friendly stranger in a black sedan. Or won't you hop inside my car? That is, Kelly and I used to do a segment called Lyrical Litigation, where we would just read the lyrics to songs and try and figure out what the hell's going on. That was troubling. That might be one of the most troubling songs ever. I'm your friendly stranger in a black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I've got pictures. I've got candy. I'm a lovable man. I could take you to the nearest star. That is almost as troubling as the Beatles' Run for Your Life. The Beatles, of course, Run for Your Life is a song about John Lennon telling his girlfriend that if you cheat on me, I'm going to murder you. So you better run for your life if you cheat on me. All right. There you go. So that's Happy Ides of March, everybody. On this day, 44 BC, the assassination of Julius Caesar takes place. On this day in 1917, Russia became a problem. Russia has been a problem for 105 years now, because on this day in 1970, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia abdicates the Russian throne, ending a 304-year reign of the Romanov dynasty. And Russia has been a problem ever since. When the Romanovs were in charge, sure, there was all kinds of unequal disbursement of wealth, and there were peasants and there were but whatever, at least they weren't causing problems like they're causing today. That was on this day. Tsar Nicholas Romanov abdicated. On this day in 1943, during World War II, the Battle of Kharkiv took place. The Germans retake the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv from the Soviet armies in a bitter street fighting. Interesting, because here we are today, and there's a Battle of Kharkiv going on today as well. So 1943, this was the World War II battle, a big one. I think this one is bigger. I think this one's probably doing a little bit more damage, but there you have it. Also, more Soviet stuff. Well, that's 3 Soviet things in a row. We got Tsar Nicholas. We've got the Soviets losing Kharkiv to the Germans. And today, on this day in 1990, Mikhail Gorbachev is elected the first president of the Soviet Union. I believe this was the beginning of certainly the beginning of the end, because the whole country fell apart after that. But do you remember what they called this whole movement? This Glasnost. Remember Glasnost? That's what this was. On this day in 2019, 51 people are killed in the Christchurch mosque shootings. Now, I remember this because I'm fascinated with breaking news. And I remember when this was happening. I remember I got my news alert, and I started following this. And you could follow this crazy, horrible, tragic event that happened in Christchurch, New Zealand. You could follow it because the shooter was streaming it live. I remember watching that. I wonder if you can still find it on YouTube. I bet you can in some way, shape, or form. They took it down, though. I remember, because I was like, I want to. But the shooter had a GoPro, and he was streaming. Oh God, what an absolute! It's still to this day. I think it's the only one of these mass shootings that I have actually seen unfold. And he got in his car. He got back and he shoots everybody at the mosque. Then he gets back in his car and he starts driving and he's playing music. And then he comes to a stoplight and he starts shooting at the people next to him at the stop. Oh my God, it was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay, what is happening today? Birthdays. We got some birthdays that we need to celebrate. We actually have a lot of birthdays here. Yeah, a lot of birthdays today. And you know what? It is heavy with the rockers. It is a heavy day for rock star birthdays. But first, born on this day, died in 2011. And I thought we should mention her because, people always give credit to Tina Fey broke the comedy writing female ceiling by being the first head writer of Saturday Night Live. Okay, maybe so. But first of all, there were other women who wrote on Saturday Night Live before Tina Fey. And if any woman broke the comedy writing ceiling, it was this lady, Madeline Pugh. Madeline Pugh was born on this day in 1921. Who was Madeline Pugh? Everything funny you ever saw Lucy do, Madeline Pugh wrote. Madeline Pugh was the writer for Lucy's character in I Love Lucy. So all of that stuff, the assembly line with the chocolates, the stomping grapes, all the physical stuff that Lucy did, that was all Madeline Pugh. So happy birthday, Madeline Pugh. Born on this day in 1921, died in 2011. Also born on this day, Judd Hirsch, Alex Rieger from Taxi. I like Judd Hirsch. Is he still alive? Yeah, he's still alive. Man, he's old, though. So what are you, 60, 70, 80, 85, 86, 87. 87 years old for Judd Hirsch. Excuse me. Residual sinus issues. But it's working. The new pills are working. I love them. Born on, you can tell I'm a little sped up, too. Can you tell? A little bit of crack in there. That's it. My sinus, I got the sinus medication, and there's a little bit of crack. A little something that speeds me up. Also born on this day in 1935, Jimmy Swaggart. I have sinned against you. Well-known frequenter of prostitutes, gross prostitutes too. Like there are a couple classifications of prostitutes, and like some of like, there's like the call girl escort prostitute who is super expensive, but like probably worth it, really hot. They don't look like, and then there's like the Jimmy Swaggart street walking prostitute. That's what Jimmy Swaggart like. He liked the gross ones. Ugh. So happy birthday, Jimmy Swaggart. Well-known frequenter of prostitutes. Oh yeah, he's also a Jesus guy, but better known as a well-known frequenter of prostitutes. I've sinned against you. Okay, so now let's get into a run of rock stars. Oh, also Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik was born in 1943. And Jimmy Baio in 1962. Jimmy Baio is the lesser brother of Scott Baio, which imagine that. Imagine, because Scott Baio is pretty lesser. It's not like Scott Baio has done anything in 40 years other than irritate people on social media. So you're Scott Baio's lesser brother, Jimmy Baio. Who was Jimmy? Jimmy was on Soap. We talked about Soap yesterday when it was Billy Crystal's birthday. So Jimmy Baio was on Soap. All right, now let's get into all the rock stars who are having birthdays today. Phil Lesh of the Grateful Dead, born on this day in 1940. Here's my thing about the Grateful Dead. For years, I thought I hated the Grateful Dead. I was like, I hate them, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't hate the Grateful Dead. I just hated Grateful Dead fans. And that's kind of where I sit now. Like, there are a number of Grateful Dead songs that are pretty good. It's like, that's a good song. Oh, I like that song. I love that groove. That song's pretty great. But it's ruined by Grateful Dead fans. There's a lot of bands like that. There's a lot of bands that I probably would have liked in my younger days had it not been for their fans. It's just like you look at their fans and you're like, I don't want to be like that. So I'm going to just completely cut that band out of my musical lexicon. Happy birthday, Phil Lesh. Also born on this day in 1941, Mike Love of the Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys. Actually, it's not so much that I love the Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys harmonies. I love Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson is like, Brian is cool. Brian did some anything Beach Boy related that Brian Wilson was involved in has stood the test of time and is awesome. Anything Beach Boy related that Mike Love has to do with, it's just so stupid. It's just stupid and lame. Mike Love is lame. Brian Wilson is cool. But happy birthday, Mike Love. Also born on this day in 1943, Sly Stone. I told you we were going to do nothing but rock, guys. Born on this day in 1943, or was it 43? 43, yeah. Sly Stone, Sly and the Family Stone. I have a funny Sly Stone story. So Sly Stone was like a superstar, like back in the 70s, but he was crazy, like totally nuts. And he just walked away from music. Like in the mid 1970s, he just went, I ain't doing this anymore. And he just walked away. He was like a huge, massive star. And he just quit. He just said, yeah, I can't do this anymore. And he went nuts for like 40 years. And it was just like crazy old Sly Stone crazy. You should do an album. I don't do that no more. He was crazy. Then about 15 years ago, back when the radio show I worked on had an annual trip where we would go out to the Grammy Awards and cover the Grammys, they decided to give Sly Stone a like lifetime achievement award, which is pretty good when you think about it, because he was only around for like 7 or 8 years between the late 60s and early 70s before he walked away. But they said, let's honor Sly Stone because, man, oh man, what he did back then was awesome. And so Sly Stone was announced that he was going to perform with the Family Stone for the first time in like 50 years or whatever it was. I don't know, maybe it was 40 or whatever it was 15 years ago. So everybody at the Grammy was like, oh my God, he's going to perform for the first time in like 50 years. So they get to that point in the Grammys and we're sitting there and we're like, oh, this is supposed to be the big moment where he's going to come out and play. And he comes out and they start playing, and I don't even know what song they were playing, but they were playing some like, classic Sly Stone song, and Sly Stone is standing there and he's like getting ready to sing and all that. He did half the song and then just turned and walked off the stage. And he never came back in the middle of the song. And we're all sitting there in the crowd going, what, Did he leave? Is he gone? He's like, and you're looking in the wings, like to see is he like gonna make an entrance again? And he just left. He came back after 40 years, did half a song on live TV, and then walked away in the middle of the song. He's like, "Yeah, I don't like this." He just left. So happy birthday, Sly Stone. Sly, you are I don't know how old he is. Was it 89, 80, 79, 79, 43? So 50, 60, 72, 79. All right, 79 years old for Sly Stone. Dee Snider. Dee Snider's born on this day in 1955. I told you, these are all rock guys. Dee Snider. We're not gonna take it. I like Dee Snider. Happy birthday, Dee Snider. Born on this day in 1963. One of the great douchebags in rock and roll history. One of the just monumental douchebags. And not like a dangerous douchebag. Like there are dangerous douchebags who are trouble. It's just like, eh. And then there are guys who are just dummies, just dumb douchebags, just like, hey, bro. You know, guys like Bret Michaels. Happy birthday, Bret Michaels from Poison. Every rose has its thorn. As story goes, Bret Michaels wrote that song while waiting for his laundry to be done at a laundromat on Greenville Avenue, right here in Dallas. That's right. Every rose has its thorn. That's the like local legend. Apparently, they were doing a show here, and they weren't big yet, or whatever. And he was doing his own laundry, and he wrote that song at some laundromat. So Bret Michaels, happy birthday, Bret Michaels, born on this day in 1963. Born on this day in 1964, American singer, songwriter, and musician Rockwell. Do you remember Rockwell? I believe Rockwell had like one hit song. Was it? Which one? My girl wants to party. That was Eddie Murphy. Okay. Rockwell was I always feel like somebody's watching me. That one, remember that song? That was Rockwell. What was Rockwell? That was the one. Didn't that have? That was yes. Why I get it confused with "My Girl Wants to Party," the Eddie Murphy song, because I always feel like somebody's watching me. That song, the guy singing background vocals in that song was Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy did the background vocals for that song. And I remember at the time, it was like, well, how does someone named Rockwell, who nobody has ever heard of before, how does he get Eddie Murphy to sing? How's this guy that no one knows, this one-hit wonder, how does he get Eddie? How does that work out? Well, because it turns out Rockwell, that's not his real name. His real name is like Paul Gordy, and he is the son of Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown. So Rockwell is actually a Gordy. So that's why he had one hit, didn't really need to pursue it anymore. He's got all that Motown money. He's fine. Actually, what is his real name? Let me see here. Rockwell's real name, born on this day in 1964. Rockwell Kennedy William Gordy. That's it. Better known by his stage name, Rockwell. Rockwell is most well known for his 1984 single, Somebody's Watching Me. Oh, which features Michael Jackson. Oh, and Eddie Murphy. Is Eddie Murphy? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. It wasn't Eddie Murphy. It was Michael Jackson who was singing the background vocal. Which is why I was like, how does this guy get Michael Jackson to sing backgrounds on a song? Nobody's ever heard of this guy. How does Michael Jackson work with this? And that's because he was a Gordy. And I think the reason I confuse it with Eddie Murphy is because I think maybe those songs came out at the same time. My girl wants to. And so they just sort of like party all the time. Yeah, blend in my head. But there you go. All right. Happy birthday, Rockwell. Spending all that Motown money. Also born on this day in 1968, Sugar Ray. That's right, Mark McGrath, American singer, songwriter, and television host. Funny Mark McGrath story. Oh, you got one of those? I do. Mark McGrath played a Q101 radio station I worked at, an alternative radio station. He played a Christmas concert that we put on. And by the way, I have told stories from this Christmas concert in many. This is where the person, some guy, I think he was in Sarah McLachlan's band. My wife was talking to Sarah McLachlan, and we were all standing there, and the dude said about my wife, he said, "Oh man," he's like, "you guys could be sisters. You guys look alike." And then he said, "Yeah, but she's prettier." Like he said that about my wife. And Sarah McLachlan was like, "What? What the hell?" It was a very weird, awkward kind of moment. And then this is also the concert where The Cure and Duran Duran were headlining. And they were on tour together. And every show, one would headline and the other would play second. Or would open for whatever. One show, the Duran Duran would open for The Cure, and then the next show, The Cure would open for Duran Duran. They were going back and forth. And one of the guys, we were standing in the hallway, and one of the guys walks out, one of the Duran Duran guys walks out of his dressing room and takes the star, because The Cure were headlining this particular show, takes the star off the Duran Duran door, or no, off the Cure door, and puts it on the Duran Duran door, and then bangs on the Cure door, and then walks back in to the Duran Duran room. This is when the Cure door opens up, and Robert Smith of the Cure, wearing a bathrobe with his hair all up, looking like crazy, looking like an old lady, crazy Cure hair and all that, and he had a bathrobe. Robert Smith flings the door open, looks, sees that the star is missing, shuffles out to the next dressing room, pulls the star off the Duran Duran door, puts it back on his door, and slams it. It was funny. It was funny watching Duran Duran and the Cure kind of mess with each other. But what is the the Mark McGrath Sugar Ray story from this time period? Well, Mark McGrath was missing, and everybody was wondering, where's Mark McGrath? Where's Mark McGrath? And he had a broken leg at the time. And so they're like, "Oh, did he quit? Is the show, is he not going on?" Because he was missing. No, he wasn't missing. It turned out the next morning he was having sex with a DJ from the radio station, whose name I won't mention, because all of my Chicago listeners would probably know who that was. But Mark McGrath ended up hooking up with a DJ from the radio station I worked with and was like 20 minutes late. Happy birthday, Mark McGrath. Also, born on this day in 1972, Mark Hoppus. Mark Hoppus, American singer, songwriter, Blink-182, right? Mark Hoppus. There you go. Born on this day in 72. And finally, born on this day in 1975, Eva Longoria. Isn't she trouble? Isn't she trouble? I don't know. Like, what do I know about Eva Longoria? Beautiful woman, Desperate Housewives. That's it. But wasn't she trouble? Doesn't she always cause trouble? I don't know. Whatever. Get out there and cause some trouble, Ava. It's your birthday. And dead on this day, nobody to really mention, except, of course, in 44 BC, Julius Caesar died on this day. Julius Caesar. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's get into some of the trending topics. Let's run through these very quickly. Today, jugging is trending. Jugging is trending locally. Do you know what jugging is? I did not know what jugging is, so I had to look this up. Jugging is a crime, and McKinney police here in North Texas have arrested how many dudes? Well, we got 1, 2, 3 dudes. 3 dudes from Houston coming up from Houston to do jugging. I didn't know what jugging was. McKinney police have arrested 3 suspected jugging thieves. Jugging is when criminals target people who withdraw money from the bank, then wait for opportunities to steal it. That's jugging. I thought that was just called robbery, but apparently we're now calling it jugging. Earlier this month, McKinney officers noticed a car that was used in a previous crime and pulled them over after seeing the people inside the car swapping out their paper temporary tags. One of the men in the car confessed. Dominique Hardy, Datavius Beal, and Jawilton Curry are charged. Jawilton? That's not a name. Datavius? That's not a name. Dominique Hardy, Dominique's a name. Datavius? Jawilton Curry, Dominique Hardy, and Datavius Beal are charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. Let's see. So there you go. They were arrested. So apparently there's no more jugging. I've never heard of jugging before today. What else do we have locally? Well, Capitol riot updates. We got these. North Texas guy. This is dope. North Texas man Lucas Denny. Lucas Denny from Mansfield is being charged with a whole bunch of things in the Capitol riots. And apparently, the federal government screwed up and they waited too long to file certain charges. And like the statute of limitations or whatever, I don't know what it is. But the judge was going to be forced to throw them out. But for some reason, this guy, this dumbo, Lucas Denny of Mansfield, he decided in the middle of court to the court that they were probably going to throw these out. He decided to plead guilty to criminal felony assault of a police officer. So he got tagged with that. And the judge is like, really? You're going to plead guilty to this? He's like, yeah, we'll just plead guilty to this. And then it's revealed that the judge would have been forced to throw it out. But this guy instead, dummy, God, these people. Who is his lawyer? Seriously. All right. And then Capitol Riots Part 2. Here we got a lady. This lady's out of Pittsburgh. Capitol rioter from Ross, Pennsylvania, who lost her job in marriage, asks for leniency, but the feds want jail for lies and lack of remorse. Trump supporter from Ross, who lost her nursing job and her marriage to a Shaler police officer after she stormed the Capitol, is asking for probation instead of a short-term jail sentence. Jennifer Heinel, 44, will be sentenced next week in the District of Columbia for demonstrating in a Capitol building, a misdemeanor, when she stormed the building in support of former President Donald Trump's false election fraud claims. She pleaded guilty back in November. Federal prosecutors are asking for 2 weeks in jail and 3 years of probation, saying that Heinel witnessed rioters fighting with police outside the Capitol, but still decided to enter. She stayed inside for 45 minutes while filming what was happening. Oh, so she was streaming live. This is how we get you. This is you dummies. You want to document your crimes? You know, it used to be that it was just dumb teenagers who would, document their crimes on phones, and we'd be like, well, they're just dumb kids. No, adults do it too. Adults. So they got her. Federal prosecutors are asking for 2 weeks in jail and 3 years of probation. Her lawyer, Martin Dietz, is arguing for probation because his client is extremely remorseful, embarrassed, and ashamed for participating in what he called an unjustifiable attack on America. Heinel stormed the Capitol with Kenny Grayson of Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, whose case is pending. But Mr. Dietz said she did not do anything violent or yell encouragement to other rioters, as many others did. Instead, he said, she walked around for about 45 minutes and left. Mr. Dietz asked the judge to consider her personal circumstances. She's never even gotten a traffic ticket before, he said. Yeah, but she engaged in an attempted coup of the United States government. So, I don't care if you never had a traffic ticket. This one kind of overpowers the rest. She's never even gotten a traffic ticket, and she suffered. Her husband, a Shaler cop, Michael Henley, her marriage to Michael fell apart because of her crime. He begged her not to go. And now the two are finalizing a divorce. She also lost her job as a nurse at the Pittsburgh VA. Mr. Dietz also took issue with the prosecution's assertion that she lied to the FBI and hasn't shown remorse. The FBI reviewed security footage from the Capitol Rotunda and saw a woman wearing a long-sleeved jersey with Trump 2020 on the back and a black hat with lettering on the front. Video showed her in the Rotunda of the Capitol, crypt, and elsewhere. Agents identified her as Heinley through her association with Mr. Grayson, who is seen on video talking to her inside the Rotunda. See anything else? Heinel lied, especially to the FBI, especially in regard to Mr. Grayson's involvement. She lied. She didn't go. Of course she lied. These people are duplicitous. These people have no moral code. They're just they go where the wind blows. According to the government, she said she entered the Capitol because she has PTSD and was in a fight or flight mode after being exposed to tear gas. Prosecutors noted, however, that her purported fight or flight mode didn't prevent her from taking a photo at Mr. Grayson's request as they walked up some stairs. All right. These are happening every day now. Every day we're getting more Capitol rioter updates. They're ramping up. How about some Russian TV? This happened on Russian TV. We like to show this. Here we go. What? Hold on. I don't have this thing pulled up. Give me a second here. I've been talking about how, Putin's iron grip on the people of Russia is falling apart. And so this happened on live Russian TV last night. Let me pull this up for you. This is during a broadcast. Here, let me pull this one up. Maybe this one will be better. Yeah, we'll pull up Max. All right, so this happened during a live broadcast last night on Russian state news, which, what is that? Oh, that's not it. Sorry, folks. Didn't I tell you? I just walked in. Okay. I walked in just before we went on the air, so I do apologize. I'm not as ready as I normally am. Here we go. Okay, so this happened on live on Russian news last night. Look at this. Look at this. This is, who is this woman? This woman is a news producer. She works for the news organization. So she comes running out in the middle of the broadcast. This is not good for Putin, that people aren't afraid anymore. They've arrested tens of thousands of people for protesting. We're seeing this on Kremlin news, people jumping up and going, this isn't true, they're lying to you. And then they cut. I love that. They cut away. How about this lady, though? She doesn't even turn around and look. She just pushes ahead. And then they cut away to some... Wow. All right, there you go. It's not going well for Putin. Not going well at all. Excuse me. All right, so that's Russian TV is trending. Proud Boys also trending today because you know that guy, the leader of the Proud Boys, that Enrique Torres dude, who as soon as they were like, you're going to jail for a while, he was like, I'll tell you everything. Because again, these people have absolutely no commitment. They're just cosplayers. They're cosplay warriors. So Enrique Torres turned over a memo to the authorities, which basically outlines an entire plan by all the Proud Boys, and this is going to affect all the other Proud Boys who are standing trial. A memo details a plot by the far-right Proud Boys gang to seize U.S. government buildings. The memo was in the possession of ex-group leader Enrique Tarrio. Tarrio was indicted on conspiracy charges in connection with the Capitol riots. Where is it? A memo found in the possession of former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio details a plot to seize government buildings in Washington, D.C., entitled 1776 Returns. The memo reportedly outlines a plan to take control of the Supreme Court along with 6 House and Senate office buildings, though not the Capitol complex itself. It reportedly describes the need to assign 50 members of the far-right gang for occupying each of the buildings on Capitol Hill, with some members to create a distraction outside while others infiltrate and seize the buildings. Sources told The Times that it was unclear who authored the document, but it may have been provided to Tarrio by a former girlfriend. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. According to the report, the memo contains a detailed timeline and in some respects mirrors events that actually transpired on January 6th. Tarrio was arrested along with several other members of the Proud Boys and charged with conspiracy and connection. The memo was mentioned in indictment documents, but the Times report adds more detail about what the memo contains. According to the report, Tarrio is not accused of attempting to act on the plans outlined in the memo on January 6th. Of course not, because he's a stool pigeon. He's turned on him. Tarrio was not present in Washington, D.C. on the day of the riot, as he had been arrested in an unrelated case 2 days before. Because they're good citizens. They are good people. They're just good, fed-up people. They're not the worst among us who felt emboldened by the climate of the times and then decided to act on it. Not at all. DeMarcus is trending. DeMarcus Lawrence. This is some Cowboy news for us here in North Texas. DeMarcus Lawrence has re-signed with the Cowboys, a big ass deal. He becomes the first. This is historic. Apparently, he's the first defensive. Is it first defensive player in general or just defensive lineman? Let me see here. Let's find out. He's got some guaranteed money, boy. The Dallas Cowboys came to a surprise new contract agreement with DeMarcus Lawrence on Monday that will also allow the defensive lineman to make some history. The Cowboys re-signed Lawrence to a new 3-year deal worth $30 million guaranteed. The contract keeps Lawrence in the fold while simultaneously reducing his cap hit for 2022, giving Dallas some extra flexibility. Contract also means that Lawrence becomes the first defensive lineman in NFL history to have 7 straight seasons of his contract guaranteed, as long as he sees out the deal. Lawrence is poised to have earned over $130 million. Oh, my goodness. All right, big payday for DeMarcus Lawrence. And on the sad side of that stuff, Randy Gregory is gone. Your Dallas Cowboys have lost Randy Gregory to the Denver Broncos. Now, this is Randy Gregory is trending along with Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones apparently totally screwed this up. Randy Gregory, it was announced earlier today that he had re-signed with the Cowboys. Pro Football Focus and Adam Schefter both tweeted out, Gregory re-signs with Cowboys. That changed moments later when it was revealed that no, he didn't re-sign with the Cowboys. He signed the exact same deal with the Denver Broncos. Now, why? Why would he decide to sign the same deal with the Broncos and not stay here with the Cowboys? And that's why Stephen Jones is trending, the son of Jerry Jones. Apparently, Stephen Jones, at the last minute, the minute that they were about to sign him, they were about to get Randy Gregory back, Stephen Jones decided to add some contract language that was like bullshit, like just some real garbage contract language. And Randy Gregory went, are you kidding me? He's like, you do realize my agent, see him? He's out in the hallway on the phone. He's talking to the Denver Broncos. I want this. I don't want this in here. And apparently Stephen Jones was like, well, I'm sorry. Then you're going to have to go. That's fine. But this is the deal. So Randy Gregory is going to the Broncos for the exact same money, the exact same deal, except for some bullshit that Stephen Jones at the last minute tried to shoehorn into the contract. So there you go. That's why Randy Gregory is getting 5 years, $70 million from the Denver Broncos. The same thing that he was being offered with the Cowboys. So Stephen Jones and Randy Gregory are both trending right now. Let's see here. Let's see here. Mark Cuban and Elon Musk are apparently going back and forth. They're going back and forth on Twitter. Elon Musk is doomsaying about the inflation rates in 20 years, how they're going to be, it's going to be insane. Gas is going to be $1 million a gallon in 20 years or whatever. And Mark Cuban is like, God, you're stupid. God, you're dumb. That's not how money works. They're going back and forth. Billionaire Mark Cuban takes a swipe at Elon Musk's question about what inflation could look like in the coming years. And then it just goes into all kinds of like, well, you have to look at different sectors. And what you're doing, Elon, is you're not taking into account that all sectors don't behave the same over time. You're just extrapolating one. It's like that. It's like crazy rich guy talk. So anyway, Mark Cuban and Elon Musk are going at it on Twitter. And by the way, they're not even close. They're not even. Elon Musk is like in the 200 billion range, and Mark Cuban is at a paltry 4 billion. Hey, by the way, I heard something really great about Mark Cuban. I didn't know this. Did you guys know this? And this is why Mark Cuban is like one of the cool billionaires in my book. So you know the St. Pat's parade that I went to with my kid on Saturday? Apparently like 10 years ago or something, the St. Pat Dallas was going to cancel the St. Patrick's Day parade and end it because it costs like, I don't know, like $100,000 a year to put on with, police overtime and all that kind of stuff. And the city council was like, yeah, we can't afford to do that. Mark Cuban stepped in and he said, because Mark Cuban was like, he didn't grow up here, but when he was like in his 20s and stuff, living over there in the villages and partying, he was a big party boy on Greenville and all that. He loved going to the St. Pat's parade. So Mark Cuban basically bought the St. Patrick's Day parade. And that's why the Mavericks are the sponsors of the St. Pat's. That's why Dirk was the Grand Marshal, but it's always like a Mavericks kind of event. And that's because Mark Cuban stepped up and he said, I'll pay for it. Whatever, we're going to keep doing this. I used to have great times at the St. Pat's parade. I don't see why other people can't. So thank you, Mark Cuban. It was a nice time. Although Mark, maybe in future years, maybe add a little bit of Irish culture instead of just people running around looking like drunk leprechauns. There was no bagpipes. There was no Irish music. It was just 100% insulting cultural appropriation. To me, my 100% Irish heart was wounded. No, it really wasn't, because, as I like to say, we Irish don't define ourselves by oppression. We're fine. We're fine with the cultural appropriation. We're glad that you enjoy our culture. Just keep going at it, keep having fun, and keep your hands off St. Patrick's Day. Leave it alone. We ain't Columbus. We didn't kill a bunch of Indians. So that's why Cuban and Musk are fighting. Jussie Smollett is also trending today. Jussie Smollett is trending because apparently he's been moved from the psych ward at Cook County Prison. Cook County Jail. It's not a prison, it's a jail. Cook County Jail. He's been in 5 days now. 5 days down. Do you think he's got like the little X's on the wall? You know, like prisoners do the little X's for each day. Jussie was placed in the psychiatric wing based on his, I am not suicidal. I am not suicidal. So they put him in the psychiatric wing for like the first 5 days. And now they've moved him to Gen Pop. Jussie's got a regular bed where he doesn't have to be strapped in, because I am not suicidal. He's going to be strapped in. He's not strapped in anymore, and he's whatever. He's probably going to have some visitors tonight. I'm sure that there's a lot of people in Cook County Jail that want to meet Jussie. He's a handsome young man. Okay, so that's why Jussie is trending. He's been moved. He's been moved out of psych ward and into Gen Pop. Sam Elliott is trending again. Well, we love Sam Elliott, right? I mean, okay, so he got in trouble for saying that the movie, he didn't get in trouble. Sam Elliott, that's the thing about Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott doesn't get in trouble. Sam Elliott is just Sam Elliott. He's, greatest mustache since Burt Reynolds. Greatest mustache since Mike Ditka. He's the mustache. Sam Elliott said about the cowboy movie, Power of the Dog, that is winning all kinds of awards this award season. He said it's too gay. That's too gay. He said that on Mark Maron's WTF podcast. So Sam, what did you think of Power of the Dog? You're a noted cowboy actor. You're the star of 1883, the Yellowstone spinoff. What do you think about the new cowboy movie, Power of the Dog? And Sam said, too gay. Looked like a bunch of Chippendales. That's what he said. Call them a bunch of Chippendales. I can't believe that. First of all, anybody who overreacted at Sam Elliott's take on a gay cowboy movie, you weren't a Sam Elliott fan to begin with. You got to expect these things from Sam Elliott. That's why we like him. He is unabashedly Sam Elliott at all times. Well, he's in trouble again for other comments that he made on that very same podcast that, were overtaken in the first round of Sam Elliott sucks talk. Apparently he doesn't like Yellowstone either. Yellowstone, the show. I love Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan, who created Yellowstone and also created 1883, which is 1883 is the prequel series to Yellowstone. The Dutton family, who are the center of the Yellowstone storyline, 1883 tells the story of how back in 1883, the forefathers of the Dutton family moved on a wagon train from Fort Worth, Texas, all the way up to Montana or Wyoming, wherever the hell that is. And Sam Elliott is the star of 1883. I love I love Yellowstone. I'm a big fan of Yellowstone. And I'm also a big fan of 1883. And yeah, they are totally different shows. They're nothing similar. So Sam Elliott was asked, what do you think of Yellowstone? I don't like it. I don't like Yellowstone. It's some Dallas style bullshit. He called Yellowstone like a soap opera, a nighttime soap opera, and he doesn't like it. And even though he stars in the prequel, he's working for the same guy. His boss is the guy who created Yellowstone, and Sam Elliott is just all, I don't like it. It's stupid. It's like a damn soap opera. He compared it to Dallas, the old TV show Dallas. So there you go. Sam Elliott, 1883 star, slams Yellowstone. Let's see who else is trending here. We got Deshaun Watson is trending. Now, this happened over the weekend, or actually after we went off the air on Friday. Deshaun Watson has been cleared of all criminal activity. Remember, there's like 11 girls who claim that he sexually assaulted them, and they're all suing him individually for millions and millions of dollars in civil court. And because of all of these cases, the Houston Police Department decided to open up a criminal investigation into all of these assaults that he's being accused of. And after an over a year-long investigation, they went, "Yeah, no, we can't prove anything here. There's no criminal." So Deshaun Watson is now hot trade talk. He's not going to play for the Texans anymore, which is terrible because Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Still has the civil cases hanging over his head, but he'll handle those, whatever. But he is now it's less dangerous for a team to try and trade for him, because you weren't going to trade for a guy who at any minute could be facing 11 rape charges in criminal court, right? So now there's none of that's going to happen. He's not going to go to jail. There's nothing that's going to, he's going to probably have to settle a bunch of these civil cases, and he's going to give big chunks of his money to these people. And, we'll see how that goes. But at least he is not going to jail. So trade talks for Deshaun Watson have been ramping up the last couple of days. Oh, it should also be noted, he's going to be suspended by the NFL. Whoever takes on his contract, he is probably going to be suspended for these civil charges, just because that's how they do it. It's not going to, you won't miss a whole season or anything like that. I mean, he's probably going to be looking at like 4 games suspended to start the next season wherever he plays. So whoever does trade for him, they're probably not going to have him for the entire season, but whatever. He's not going to be ripped from their team and sent to prison for 20 years. So who wants him? There is a dark horse now. The Atlanta Falcons are now saying that they are in the market for Deshaun Watson. And this is that's how good Deshaun Watson is. Deshaun Watson is so good that these teams are willing to put up with all of the trouble that is going to come with him. They bring him into their team. There's going to be protesters. There's going to be boycotts. It's going to be but he's good. The Atlanta Falcons have emerged as a sleeper team in pursuit of Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. The Falcons join the Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, and Cleveland Browns as teams that have met with or are interested in trading for Watson. Cleveland is interesting. Cleveland is really interesting because didn't you think that they were like totally down with Baker Mayfield? And if Cleveland is really interested in Deshaun Watson, that means they're giving up on old Baker Mayfield. That's end up seeing Baker Mayfield down in Houston. I could see that trade happening. Saints. The Saints will just be. I'll tell you, if Deshaun Watson ends up with the Saints, that's going to make Tom Brady rethink retirement because right now Tom Brady is looking at the rest of the teams in his division and going, "Yeah, I'm the best quarterback in this division. I can." But you bring in Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson's probably the best quarterback in the division. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Yeah, but he's like 60. He's like 60, and Deshaun Watson's young. And Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback in the league before all this stuff happened. So there you have it. Deshaun Watson is trending. What else do we have here? More sports. It's a lot of sports stuff because we are in the NFL free agency window. It's people getting snapped up left and right, people going, people jumping. Plus, we've got baseball restarting, and the baseball free agency and trades have been tabled throughout the whole lockout. So I'm skipping a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of like sports stuff that's trending: football, baseball. But here's one that's interesting. We're talking about English Premier League. Check this out. Okay. So remember Chelsea? We've been talking about Chelsea because their former owner, Roman Abramovich, is one of these sanctioned Russian oligarchs. And Roman Abramovich made news because in the early days of the Ukraine war, he said that he was going to be stepping away from the day-to-day running of the Chelsea football team, soccer. Then a couple days later, he said, you know what? Apparently that's not good enough. So I'm going to be selling the Chelsea football team and I'm going to be donating all the money that I get for it to Ukrainian relief. And then that wasn't good enough. Then they banned him. Then basically like if the NFL said, hey, Jerry Jones, you can't own the team anymore, get out. So then they just flat out banned him, can't sell it. They locked, because of these sanctions, the Chelsea football team is under stewardship of the government and they're allowed to continue football operations. And everybody thought, well, that'll be fine. They can keep playing and all that. But what I guess I didn't realize was that that means they can keep playing and that's it. They can keep playing. They can't sell tickets to fans. They can't sell merchandise. They can't sell jerseys. They had to pull all of their stuff down. They had to close their store. Chelsea can't do anything except show up to play. And if they're playing a home game, they have to play in front of an empty stadium because they can't sell tickets. That's how crazy this has been. So Chelsea is playing another team, Middlesbrough, okay? And the person who's running Chelsea has asked the Premier League to make this upcoming game, I believe it's a Saturday game, make this upcoming Saturday game closed to the public. So Chelsea wants there to be nobody in the stands. Basically, they can't have any Chelsea fans because Chelsea can't sell their tickets. But he's now asking, Bruce Buck is the guy who's running the team. Bruce Buck is now asking the league to say, well, make Middlesbrough not be able to sell tickets either. And Middlesbrough's like, what? We didn't do anything wrong. Our team isn't run by a shady Russian oligarch. This is you guys. This is your guys' penalty. So right now there's a big argument going on because the league is considering, well, maybe we shouldn't allow any fans to go to Chelsea games. But no, Chelsea fans, I get it because Chelsea cannot make money off ticket sales while they're sanctioned. I get that. But you can't tell the teams that Chelsea plays that they can't make money. They didn't do anything wrong. Their fans should be able to show up. Chelsea and sporting integrity don't belong in the same sentence. Middlesbrough chairman Steve Gibson tears into the rotten world champions, calls for counterpart Bruce Buck to be thrown out, and vows to complain to the FA. Middlesbrough chairman Steve Gibson has ripped into Chelsea and branded the club rotten for requesting to play their FA Cup quarterfinal match behind closed doors on Saturday. The Blues, who have been left in a state of limbo, that's the Chelsea team. By the way, the Chelsea team is a London team. This isn't like some team from the middle of like nowhere, like the Jacksonville Jaguars of the Premier League. This is the New York Giants of the Premier League. Chelsea is in London. The Blues, who have been left in a state of limbo after owner Roman Abramovich was sanctioned by the UK government last week, announced on Tuesday that they cannot sell any new tickets for their trip to Middlesbrough this weekend. With Abramovich's British assets frozen, they are currently unable to sell tickets or merchandise, complete any incoming or outgoing transfers, renew player contracts, or spend more than $20,000 per match for travel. So they can spend like 20 grand to get their teams hotels and airfare and all that stuff for places. They can't make any trades. They can't renew any contracts. They can't do anything like that. They can just simply show up and play with what they have. So that's why Chelsea and Middlesbrough are trending. I thought that was interesting. The nerve. Okay, we did something really bad, and you're going to let us keep playing even though we did something really bad. But now we want these same penalties that you're putting on us to be against the people that we're playing because that's not fair. No, what's not fair is that you did something really bad. That's not fair. What's not fair is that you were run by a shady guy. And now that shady guy has gotten this team in trouble, and the other team's not in trouble. How I Met Your Father is trending. You guys watching this? Because I used to love How I Met Your Mother. That was a good show. How I Met Your Father is the Hilary Duff new show that's on Hulu. And I guess it's trending today because Kobe Smulders, who played Robin. Remember Robin in How I Met Your Mother? Colby Smulders makes an appearance in the season 1 finale of How I Met Your Father, and she plays Robin. And well, I don't know let's see what this is about. I haven't seen the story. I just saw that it was trending pretty high, and I thought, okay, we'll talk about that. That's pop culture. We like doing pop culture here. Colby Smulders returns as Robin Scherbatsky in How I Met Your Father season 1 finale. First of all, I love the character of Robin on How I Met Your Mother. She was funny. She's her character. How I Met Your Mother is very much like Friends, just for people 10 to 15 years younger than those of us who watched Friends. Robin Scherbatsky has lived many lives. Canadian pop star, Barney Stinson's wife, acclaimed news anchor, and now she can add the title of How I Met Your Father relationship mentor to that list. Colby Smulders made a surprise cameo in How I Met Your Mother's spinoff season 1 finale, guiding Hilary Duff's Sophie Tompkins through her boy troubles in the iconic McLaren's bar. So apparently they did a scene in the bar that they used to hang out in How I Met Your Mother, you know, that bar that they all hung out in. And Robin was there. And somehow Robin and Hilary Duff, who's the lead character in the new spinoff, ran into each other. And I didn't realize this, but I guess this takes place in the future. Like How I Met Your Father takes place in the year 2030? So it's like a bunch of years, not a bunch of years, but a few years in the future. And so what we get to see, the reason everybody's because we get to see Robin, like, what she really went on to do. And apparently she's a big famous news person now, and she's hanging out. Though Sophie's squad tends to frequent a different bar, her friend turned something more, Jessie, I don't watch the show, so I don't know what this is about, lives upstairs from McLaren's in the same apartment that once housed Ted and Marshall, resulting in a perfect moment to bring back the How I Met Your Mother regular. The show's creators and showrunners told EW about the magic on set while filming with Smulders and how the show is still managing to distinguish itself from the original series, which ran from 2005 to 2014. We really wanted to let people get to know Sophie and her friends as a crew before we started bringing in characters from the original. It's been a really, really interesting balancing act to take something that's such a huge title, How I Met Your Mother, and so loved, and try to create something that honored it and has many similarities to it, but also stands on its own 2 feet. Let's see here. In How I Met Your Mother's controversial finale, Robin, this is how it ended. Robin was divorced from Barney, Neil Patrick Harris, and making headway in her reporting career. The show's glimpse into 2020 showed Robin's face plastered on buses as she inched her way towards fame. And in 2030, which is, I guess, where this one turns out, she accepts Ted's blue French horn romantic. I don't know. Or whatever. I don't care. I don't want to ruin it because it says spoiler alert now. So, you know, if you want to watch How I Met Your Father, be looking for Robin to show up in the final episode. Joe Buck is trending. He's been trending for a couple of days. We didn't mention this, but we talked about Troy Aikman receiving that giant $15 million deal to leave Fox and go join Monday Night Football, or ESPN, right? Yeah, I think it's ESPN. Is it ESPN? Hold on. Let me make sure before I do this. And I remember saying, have we seen the last Joe Buck and Troy Aikman pairing? Because they were great. I love those guys. It's ESPN. It's Monday Night Football. Well, no, we haven't, because Joe Buck has also been signed by Monday Night Football to work alongside Troy Aikman. And it's the most expensive football booth in the history of professional sports booths. It's a $30 million a year booth. Both Troy and Buck are making $15 million a year. That's quarterback money. That's like not the most expensive players in pro football make a little bit more than that. ESPN is expected to announce its $30 million NFL booth as soon as tomorrow morning, with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman moving over from Fox to handle Monday Night Football starting next season. See, that's a really good booth. And what's interesting about Monday Night Football is that they have started to do the Manning cast, where it's the Manning brothers who do an alternative play-by-play sort of event where it's just them sitting around watching the game. It's less formal than a traditional play-by-play color booth. But they did the Manning cast because the Monday Night Football booth the last couple of years, it's just been But now it's a $30 million booth with Buck and Troy Aikman, who are great. I love those guys. I love Jim Nantz and Tony Romo too, but Buck and Troy Aikman, those are the guys in my mind who replaced Summerall and Madden. For many years, the great football watching experience was brought to us by John Madden and Pat Summerall. And then when those two guys went away, the next great booth that emerged was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Now that there is actually a $30 million booth, are they going to be as happy about the Manning cast? Because they re-signed the Manning cast. The Manning cast is going to be going on next season. I don't know. Coming after several years of cost-cutting for on-air talent, ESPN's business rivals are questioning how committed the network is to fiscal responsibility in the wake of spending a record-high amount on an NFL broadcast booth. But former Fox Sports chair David Hill, who paid John Madden a then unthinkable $8 million per year in 1994. Wow, $8 million in 94. And here we are in 2022, and they're getting $15 million. That was a lot. That was a lot in 94. $8 million per year in 94 to lure him over to Fox. Says the current salaries that are climbing north of $15 million per year make sense. In reality, what are a commentator's wages? It's 2 or 3 Super Bowl spots. Everything is relative, said Hill, referencing the $6.5 million that NBC sold for a 30-second spot at this year's Super Bowl. Never forget that the basis of sports is probably the purest of the basic economic principle of supply and demand. There are very few people who can do the job. All right, so there you go. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman back together again, doing Monday Night Football, the most expensive booth in professional sports commentating history. Okay, what else we got here? This is interesting. This is just something that I'll show you. Baseball. We're not going to do there's a whole bunch of baseball stuff. I'm not going to bore you with stupid baseball stuff. But this was interesting. So you guys know Pete Alonso? Pete Alonso, New York Mets, slugger. Good hitter. Rookie of the year a couple of years ago. Check this out. So Pete Alonso was driving to Mets spring training, and he got into a car wreck. And it's being described as a terrible car wreck. But Pete Alonso was driving like some gigantic truck, so he's fine. He walked away from it. He and his wife walked away from the accident. But his wife took video of the car. Look at this car. Look at this. This is Pete Alonso's car. This is the accident that he got into on his way to spring training. Look at that. Flipped over. They were obviously wearing their seatbelts. Super Duty. The windshield is busted out. Man, oh man. If he was in a sports car, he'd probably been dead. Because imagine the impact it took to knock a big old truck like that. What's going on here? Look at what is this? What is this? What happened here? Is there a fire? Is that a burn? Doesn't look like anything is burned underneath the car. Tires don't look melted. Oh my God. All right. So that's why Pete Alonso is trending. Look at that. Crazy. Oh boy. Yikes. Yeah, Adam says, "I'm assuming they had to get out through the windshield." Yeah, probably. That's probably kicked it out, but holy cow, my god. Uh, Also, another sports story that's kinda trending. This is a fun one. Here, we'll show you this one too. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's a weed guy now. Mike Tyson has, a weed business where he's selling, edibles. Let's see here. So Mike has this new thing. This is genius. This is really genius. So a brand of Mike Tyson edibles are being called Mike Bites. They are Mike Tyson weed edibles called Mike Bites, and you guessed it, they are in the shape of a human ear. That's great. That is great. Of course, Mike Tyson, famous for biting the ear off of Evander Holyfield back in the 90s. And look at it. He's now selling weed edibles. Mike Tyson is selling Mike Bites. So Mike Bites is trending. It's genius. It's genius. Good for Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was like a terrible human being for like the first, 50 years of his life. And now he just seems like a big, gentle, old, well, still scary. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Mike Tyson could still be scary, but he seems like he's got a good sense of humor. All right, there you go. Mike Bites, ear-shaped marijuana edibles. Do you like edibles? I like edibles. I don't prefer edibles, but edibles are fine. Edibles are fine for like long plane trips. Like if you had to go on a plane, like instead of taking like I used to take Valium or something like that, I wouldn't do that now. I would get some edibles and just eat a whole bunch of edibles and then just chill out that way. And they're legal. They're legal, at least where I used to live. They're not legal here yet. They should be legal here, but they're not. That's coming. Don't worry. It's coming. It will be legalized here in Texas. And then we'll all be able to just munch on weed edibles whenever we want. What else is trending? Oh, this is fun. Deporting Anna. I thought this was a funny trend. It caught my eye. Deporting Anna is trending. Are you familiar with the Netflix series, the popular Netflix series Inventing Anna, which tells the story of Anna Delvey, who was a con woman who impersonated a Russian billionaire heiress in New York City and infiltrated the most hoity-toity and stuck-up, sophisticated circles of society there in New York, conned everybody, never paid for a thing, lived like a damn princess for years, never paid for a thing. Inventing Anna. If you haven't seen it, Anna Delvey is so good. Ruth from Ozark plays her. If you like Ruth, if you like Ozark, she is so good as Anna Delvey. Well, the real Anna Delvey, as we know, ended up going to jail. She got caught finally after she couldn't pay for anything. She would like people, like banks just gave her loans because they believed her. Anna Sorokin, that's her real name. She went by Anna Delvey. Anna Sorokin, the convicted swindler whose criminal adventures form the basis of the hit Netflix 2022 series Inventing Anna, will soon be deported back to Germany. If, according to various media reports, Sorokin, the real name of the self-invented Anna Delvey, thus the title Inventing Anna, was released from ICE custody yesterday and was no longer being detained in an upstate New York detention facility. Wait a second, she's out? She got out? Though her criminal defense lawyer, Todd Spodek, has declined comment, sources have told both the New York Times and the New York Post that Sorokin's deportation was imminent, with the Post reporting that she was expected to board a flight to Frankfurt last night. Manny Aurora, her attorney in the criminal appeal, told Good Morning America this morning that he hadn't heard from her yesterday, which was unusual. She's running. Come on. She's running. She's like famous now. Like now she doesn't have to be Anna Delvey anymore. Now she can just trade off being Anna Sorokin, the girl who conned everybody into thinking she was a billionaire. She's got to have, there's money to be made. There is money for this girl to be made. Although if she makes it in America, they'll probably make her pay her back. because she owes like everybody millions of dollars. Sorokin had been fighting deportation for a year, having completed her prison stint for crimes depicted in the Shonda Rhimes created series in February of 2021. Oh, she's been out for a year. I didn't know that. Last March, she was detained at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement office in Lower Manhattan after a routine check-in and was then arrested on charges of overstaying her visa. She's been held at detention centers in New Jersey and New York since her ICE arrest. Last month, Sorokin confirmed that she was working with surviving R. Kelly producer Bunham Murray Productions on a new limited documentary series that would chronicle her life following the events portrayed in Inventing Anna. According to the announcement, the new series aims to give audiences an insight into what makes Sorokin tick and where she plans to take her recently cemented infamy. There's money to be made. There is money to be made as this girl. I mean, even if it's just, every radio station in the country would hire her for like, 10 grand to come attend their part. She's got money. There's money to be made. Michael Driscoll, who is director of development at Bunham Murray Productions, is leading the project with Rupert Dobson. Development and BMP president Julia Pizzi said last month, Anna's story is very much alive and still unfolding as we speak. We've been developing this project with her for months now and spent countless hours on the phone and video calls with her. She is a complicated and fascinating character. I'll say, yes, she is. And we are looking forward to telling the next chapter of her ever-evolving tale. Inventing Anna stars Julia Garner, a Russian-born woman claiming to be a German heiress who in 2017 was arrested on grand larceny charges. She was found guilty in 2019 with her complicated web of lies and schemes to defraud elite New Yorkers, becoming a public fascination in the process. Last month, it was revealed that Sorokin received about $320,000 from Netflix for the story that eventually became Inventing Anna. Of that sum, she paid $199,000 in restitution for her crimes, $24,000 in state fines, and $75,000 in attorney fees. After she paid the restitution, the courts let her keep what little is left. All right, so what's left? 223, 3. Okay, so she kept probably about $15K. She got about 15 grand after all of that to keep. And that is why deporting Anna is trending. The Simpsons are trending. I have not watched a Simpsons episode in, I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I saw a Simpsons episode. And it's not because I don't like the Simpsons. It's just that the schedule that I used to be in 30 years ago, where Sunday nights you'd put on the TV and you'd watch The Simpsons at 7. That just radically changed. I don't watch TV. I don't consume television in that way anymore. So there's probably a good 20 years of Simpsons episodes that I can watch. And from what I understand, they're still good. They fold in new writers every couple of years and it stays pretty good. But I have not seen a new Simpson episode in forever. And I guess this one last week is making waves, making attention because The Simpsons is trending. They're trending because apparently on Sunday's episode, Homer gets canceled. Homer gets canceled and then he goes viral and he gets doxxed and all of this stuff happens. And at some point in the episode, Homer goes to the only person that would talk to him, and that is a right-wing, muscle-bound, shaved head, COVID-denying podcaster who looks just like Joe Rogan, but they don't say it's Joe Rogan. So here, I'll show you the picture here, but just to give you an example. They don't say it's Joe Rogan, but they basically, yeah. All right, here we go. Simpsons are being criticized after Homer meets Joe Rogan spoof. Let's see here. Yep, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Here's a still from it. There you go. All right, so that's right-wing podcast house. Pariah's welcome. And I don't know. So this guy, they never say it's Joe Rogan, but I mean, I guess the shaved head. I don't know, the beard. I don't. There's Joe Rogan doesn't wear collared shirts. He's definitely muscular. I don't know. I mean, look, I think it's supposed to be Joe Rogan esque. I don't think it's supposed to be Joe Rogan. I think it's just kind of a shot. So there you go. That's why the Simpsons are trending. Okay. Here's the last one that I have prepared for you. Lewis Hamilton is trending. Who's Lewis Hamilton, Pugs? Oh, who's Lewis Hamilton? You don't know who Lewis Hamilton is? Lewis Hamilton is only one of the most famous athletes in the entire world. I believe he's like number 3 or something on the wealthiest athletes on the planet. You don't know who Lewis Hamilton is? Oh, what is he? Some soccer player? No. He's an F1 driver. And as you all know, I'm like super into F1 now because I just binged the entire new season 4 of Formula 1 Drive to Survive on Netflix. And I love Lewis Hamilton. I love that Danny Ricciardo is like my favorite. I also like George Russell. I like Danny Ricciardo, George Russell, but Lewis Hamilton, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest Formula 1 driver of all time. The greatest Formula 1 driver of all time. Don't you bring that Ayrton Senna, Lane Prost, Michael Schumacher bullshit my way. Lewis Hamilton is the greatest Formula 1 race car driver. He's probably the greatest race car driver in the history of race car drivers. And we are seeing him in his prime. So why is Lewis Hamilton trending today? He's trending because he's decided that he's going to change his name. Now, Lewis Hamilton had won 7 consecutive world championships. He was the champion. I mean, imagine a NASCAR guy winning 7 consecutive NASCAR Cups in a row. So Lewis Hamilton won 7 in a row. Last year, he didn't win. Last year, Max Verstappen for Team Red Bull actually beat him in the last race of the season, which was incredible. So he's going into this new F1 season, which starts this weekend, by the way. I think it starts in Bahrain. I think that's the first race. He is going into this new season for the first time in almost a decade where he's not the defending champion of the circuit, and he's making some changes. Lewis Hamilton is changing his name. The entire sporting world knows him as Lewis Hamilton, but he has decided that he is now the 37-year-old British F1 champion. Lewis Hamilton has decided to change his name. The 7-time world champion will be adding his mother Carmen's surname to his full name. So his full name from now on, when you refer to, he's doing a Mellencamp. Remember when John Cougar became John Cougar Mellencamp and then just John Mellencamp? So Lewis Hamilton at 37 years old is now no longer Lewis Hamilton. He's going to be Lewis Hamilton Larbalestier. Larbalestier. I don't know. It's Larb, L-A-R-B-A-L, Larbal, and then E-S-T-I-E-R. And, that's French, right? So that's S-D-A, right? S-D-A. It's not Estier, it's S-D-A. So La Balestier. So it'll be Lewis Hamilton La Balestier. I don't know. I'm going to have to hear some Formula 1 guys pronounce it before I can really decide what it's going to be. But there you go. So that's big news. That's big news in the sporting world outside of her. It'd be like if Tom Brady changed his name to like Tom Brady Johnson, Okay, maybe it's not that big of news. It seems like it's big news. And I just X'd out of everything. X'd out? Is that really? You say X'd out? Yeah, I say X'd out. All right, let's jump in. Let's see if there's anything else happening. That's all I had prepared for you because, as I said, I was running around at the doctor's today. So I apologize if I missed anything, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's see what's trending. Adam Reyna says the Coen Brothers 2-part episode is the best episode they've done in 15 years, talking about The Simpsons. Adam says The Simpsons, they're still funny, but if you're not invested like I have been for 33 years, it's not like you need to watch. There's been some exceptional episodes this year, though. Adam says he's seen many concerts on edibles, Paul McCartney and Kanye West. Yeah, edibles are good for when you can't smoke. Although, now with vaping, You can pretty much smoke anywhere. Everybody at the St. Pat's parade were just openly walking down the street smoking weed. And I know it because there's a slight difference in this. Like if you're standing right next to someone who's vaping, you can tell, it's but whatever. I don't know why it's not legal here in America or in Texas. I have no idea. Texas is America, Pugs. Yeah, it is. It's part of it. That's for sure. All right, let me see. What else is trending? Is there anything new that's trending that I haven't been... Lieutenant Corporal is trending. Why is this trending? What is a Lieutenant Corporal? What is this? Is that a thing? A Lieutenant? There's no such, there's like a couple, there's no such thing as a Lieutenant Corporal. It's not a thing. Hold on. Why is this trending? Oh, it's trending. That's why I saw this and I'm like, there's no Lieutenant Corporal. That's not a thing. It's trending because Lauren Boebert thinks it's a thing. Apparently, Lauren Boebert. Well, we'll find out. We're learning this now. Rep. Lauren Boebert says in a video that a mother of a lieutenant corporal reached out following her interruption of President Biden's State of the Union speech, and many point out that this military ranking doesn't exist. It's not a thing. There's like, first of all, you got a corporal, then there's a sergeant, then there's a captain, then there's a lieutenant. You can't be a lieutenant who's also a corporal. I'm a senior freshman. Wait, what about sophomore and junior? You're missing some things. Oh, this is ridiculous. She is so funny. She is. The U.S. military doesn't have a rank of lieutenant corporal. So what was the nationality of the mother who thanked her? Sporting a new look, but you know what? We'll show this. Why not? Why not show it? Here, let me just pull it up. Why not? I don't like to pound on Boebert, but whatever. Doesn't matter. May as well pound on her. We're just no items. Okay. Huh. Oh, this is odd. What's going on here? Why is my Twitter looking weird? There we go. Okay. Lieutenant Corporal. Here we go. Look at her. Yeah, she's changing up.
During the State of the Union.
She is changing up her look. Okay, so is she the one who said that the police were using gazpacho tactics? Or was that the other idiot? Was that Marjorie Taylor Greene? Or was that I don't know. Why do we allow idiots? What is happening here? What is this about? All right, let's watch this. I'm watching this live for the first time. Okay, here we go. So here's Boebert. Oh, she does. She's doing a whole new look. All right. Lieutenant Corporal.
During the State of the Union, because I thought the heroic members of our military deserve to be recognized.
All right, she loves the military. She loves the military and it's very important to her.
Two things happened after, but only one was really reported. Nancy Pelosi literally told me to shut up. That got reported, along with plenty of other stories about triggered liberals who were deeply offended about me speaking up. You and I know that none of these radical libs had anything to say when Nancy Pelosi tore up President Trump's speech at the State of the Union. But it's the unreported part that I want you to hear loud and clear. After I spoke up, a few of the parents of our fallen soldiers reached out to me, and one of the moms encouraged me to share her thoughts with you. Hello, Mrs. Boebert. I am Shauna Chappell, the mother of Lieutenant Corporal during...
Okay, so that's it. The mother of Lieutenant Corporal. So the letter is either completely made up by her, done performatively. Like, I'm going to make up. What if we say that a mother of a veteran wrote me a letter thanking me, and just go ahead and write that letter. And then some moron wrote of a lieutenant. This is okay. So this is why Lieutenant Corporal is trending. They are shameless. They are absolutely shameless. Okay, so that's why Lieutenant Corporal is trending. I know we don't like to be divisive on this show, but that's funny. Is it funny though? Is it funny or is it just, oh God, so incredibly. Wait a second. Oh no, never mind. This is Randy Gregory is trending again, and it says Randy Gregory will. This is from Pro Football Talk. Randy Gregory will re-sign with the Cowboys, but that was the original one that was wrong. Hold on, let me just make sure because who knows now. Pro Football. This was posted when? Okay, this was posted at 9:30 this morning, and let me see if it's changed. 4 hours ago, 29 minutes. Yeah, okay, it's still. So Randy Gregory is still with the he signed with the Broncos, unfortunately. Falcons, Mrs. Marvel, hockey stuff. Herschel Walker is trending. Do we? We don't need Herschel. We just know that's going to be divisive stuff. Aaron Judge, Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren is doing a whole line of historically black colleges and universities clothing. So that's a thing. Miles Jack is trending. The Ides of March. Well, I'm a friendly stranger in a black sedan. Oh, won't you hop inside my car? Marcus. Well, yeah, it's all everything. Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones is still trending. Should we see what they're saying about Stephen Jones now? Let's see here. Is he going to be taking a beating? All right. Well, there still seems to be some argument here about whether or not Randy Gregory is going to the Broncos or staying with the Cowboys. Go ahead, pick who do you trust more, says Tom Downey. Stephen Jones and the Cowboys or Randy Gregory and his agent? Bro, if we can get Von Miller or Miles Jack, I'll forgive stupid ass Stephen Jones, but I know that won't happen, so F him. Stephen Jones must resign. All right. He's not going to resign. He's not going to resign. His daddy runs the team. That doesn't happen with people whose daddy runs the team. But again, Stephen Jones apparently tried to shoehorn some bullshit language into the contract at the last minute. And Randy Gregory went, yeah, no. The exact same deal without that bullshit language is being offered it up in the Broncos. So I'm going to go with them. So now Stephen Jones is being hammered. No. Papa John is trending. Why is Papa John trending? Papa John's International said last week that it was suspending all of its corporate operations in Russia following in the footsteps of other high-profile American brands. But an American who oversees 190 franchises there has decided to keep them open instead. Okay, so Papa John's corporate is like, we're closing in Russia. And then the dude who actually runs them all goes, we're not closing in Russia. So, okay. All right, that's it. We're going to end this. I'm sorry. I know today got started a little bit late and didn't give you a full 2 hours. But I had a rough morning. As I said, I had a bad sinus thing and I had to go to the doctor and I had to get my crazy ass prescription refilled. We will be back tonight. Nothing going to stop us. We'll be doing a Pillow Talk show, me and James Parker at 9:00 tonight. Who knows what we'll be getting into there. And I appreciate you putting up with the delayed show today. Hold on. I can't get this. This is not working. Beautiful day out, by the way. It's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get my run in. Look at that. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous day. There we go. Poetry. Oh, no, I got to start from the beginning. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have got my poetry. Thank you, Fast Outdoor Food. I hope you're proud of me. There was a very good, a lesser man would have said, you know what, my head is pounding and I have these new pills haven't kicked in yet. I'm just going to lay low today. But I didn't do that. Sure, I started the show an hour and a half late, but that's my dedication to you. That's how much I appreciate you guys showing up and letting me do this every day. Ba-doo, ba-doo, ba-doo. Trained to be the best. I am on a never-ending quest. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. Things are going good. Jeff Glenn says, today I listened on YouTube and on Facebook. I know you prefer us to listen on YouTube, but YouTube limits comments to 200 characters, and you know me. I do. Support the show. There you go. The obligatory shout out to support the show if you can. I'll tell you, the problem with these pills that I take, the prescription that I got filled this morning, which is why the show was delayed. The problem with these pills are that they don't like I already need to take another one. Now I can take another one and I can just be normal and I can go about my day and I'll feel better and all that stuff. But then in like 2 hours, I'll have to take another one. Whereas the ones that I had to rely on yesterday that caused me to cancel the Pillow Talk show, those things just wipe me out. It's like those things are just, ugh. So, I guess I'll just take more pills. I'll just take more pills. That's how they get you. Yeah, that is how they get you. Okay, bye everybody. I love you all. See you tonight at 9 o'clock for Pillow Talk. You're the best. The best is yet to come. Guitar. That is all I need. It's all it needs. It's all it needs. I don't need no 401. I don't have degrees. His parents have oil money. The road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest, the love. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. I found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. He says they're going good. Always had to be on guard. That is understood. You shot a president. On the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest of love. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.